more updates on this movie. Man, if I had watched this movie when I was in high school, I feel like I would have started a band. Why didn't I start a band? I mean, just anyway. Um, so I'm actually thinking about that now. And see, it's tricky because my my show and my performance, I really feel like it's got to come from me. But yeah, thinking about like how good it feels when you collaborate with someone creatively, because I have had that experience before. I'm kind of like tempted. I'm like, Anyway, if that's meant to happen, I will know, and I'll go with it. Yeah, there's scenes where like the kid is like sharing his lyrics with the kid who's more the instrumentalist, and that kind of magic when you're like playing off each other, like a really good conversation. I love that. So I stopped the movie again because he's the girl that the boy's in love with. She's she says something like, you got to learn to be happy about being sad. That's what love is. Oh, I just got chills. And because that's everything, right? It's like it's not about getting rid of sadness or pain. It's about seeing the beauty in all of that and just like loving it, embracing it. And and so he's sitting with that, like, what does it mean to be happy, sad? And the music that they pick, you know, to exemplify that is The Cure. And like, The Cure, like, was my favorite band when I was in high school. It was the first band that I listened to where I was like, oh my gosh, this person gets like every feeling I've had. And so shout out to Stacey Molaski, who I remember exactly listening to her tape like on a field trip, and I listened just it was Wish, and I listened to it like straight, both sides, like over and over, and then I listened to all their stuff. And it's interesting because earlier today I was thinking our high school reunion is coming up, and I wasn't interested in going to that at all, but I was talking about it today with a friend because yeah, I was thinking about some people from high school and a couple of early experiences, like the first couple times I had sex. And we were in the middle, my parents are in the middle of selling like the house that I lived in when I was in high school. And so it's just all interesting, right? To like look at these parts of our lives and like what shapes us. And it's not about living in the past. It's like understanding it and understanding that you've kind of like always been who you are. It's like they're little clues, and like fitting it together. And yeah, like I hated school. I hated my childhood and my teenage years, but I can still see the beauty in it. And it's rich, how and it's the fuel. I mean, these stories that I'm writing and what the show is about, it's fueled from that pain, that suffering. Yeah, I'm feeling it right now as I'm talking about it. So yep, it's all happy, sad. That's what going on about this movie. Don't keep watching if you want to be surprised. So, okay, first of all, this is like how the universe helps and works in magical ways. So, I told you part of the story that I know about is like there's an octopus, and what I wrote right before I started watching this movie was like there's a mermaid, and she's happy in the sea, and then she comes up and feels the pain in people's hearts and starts singing a song, but then it drives them into the ocean and they drown themselves. And so anyway, it goes on from there. So I'm just kind of like playing around with the story. And but some part of it is like she like opens up herself and like swallows the sea. Anyway, it's unformed. But in this movie about kids forming a band, that I would like the last place I would expect to have any kind of inspiration for my actual story, they make a music video, and the girl in it talks about how I don't even remember exactly, but like she jumps in the water and becomes a mermaid, but it's really about like she is in the city lost and alone, and she leaves because she realizes it's not where she belongs. And yeah, to find a theme like that. And another thing is, okay, so my brother's birthday is coming up, and I did a painting for him for as a birthday present a few years ago, and I really liked it because it was I didn't do it on purpose, but it showed this side of him that looks really like dark and kind of sinister, and I really liked it. And I feel like it's a side of him that not everyone sees, because he's like super chill and warm and friendly and like healing to be around. But there's more than that, you know. There's like anger and power and sharpness, you know, sharpness, you know. So I like that this painting brought that out. And I noticed it at his house the other day, like in a closet, and I thought, wow, you know, I want to turn this into a shamanic painting because his birthday's coming up in like a few weeks. So I was thinking that would be awesome to do for him, and because I've had a lot of realizations about my brother recently in terms of the role he played in my life, and I've always been like super thankful for my brother, and actually kind of like felt almost guilty because I felt like he was such a kind presence, and I was just kind of a brat. I felt like and I was like, I felt like I grew up hearing like how he was good and I was bad, and I always felt lucky that he was the older one because he probably took care of me better than I would take care of someone younger than me. But I recently realized that I had some like underlying resentment because at the same time that I felt that way, I also felt like I wished he had been more protective of me, or kind of, I don't know, played that more classical big brother role. And then I realized that actually my mom had had an abortion, and I would have had an older brother, and he was supposed to play that role. It was actually twins. They were supposed to play that role. And also just understanding, like, you know, my brother was going through his own thing, you know, and so it felt really good for me to see that, unravel that, become conscious of it. And in this movie, so awesome. Like in this movie, the kid forming the band is like really inspired by his big brother who knows all about music and whatever. And towards the end, the brother's always chill and supportive, but then when their parents get divorced, his brother kind of like actually expresses his real feelings, and he's like, you know, I'm the one that paved the way for you, and I'm not resentful that it was easy for you, but like, do you know that I'm the one that paved the way? You know, like, I'm the one that, like, I was good at school and I played guitar, and you know, I had to deal with like the parents, and I like fought my way through this family, you know. And you kind of like went through it untouched, and kind of like, you know, how the younger one gets the benefits of all the struggle of the older one. And I felt grateful, you know, watching that, because I'm sure, you know, my brother didn't do it in the exact same way, but I feel like just like the role that everyone plays in a family unit or in a community, and that it needs to be recognized. It's not easy for anyone, but the ones that came before, whether it's like your ancestors or your parents or your siblings, like in some way they are paving the road for you, and to be grateful for that. Um, and it's really heartwarming, because I'm just sitting there watching and thinking, God, if I was that older brother, I'd be like, fuck you, you little kid, you know, like, you get to have all the benefits, you get the girl, you get the band, you get to go, you know, live this great life. But in the end, when the kid actually takes off with the girl and to like make his dreams come true, the brother is ecstatic. The older brother is like ecstatic and celebrates with him, you know, and it just reminds me of like, yeah, when you actually do what you're here to do, And you're not like, you don't half-ass it because you're worried about leaving people behind or like making other people jealous. It's it helps everyone. I mean, it's inspiring. So another thing that I really liked is the girl says something to the kid like, oh yeah, during this video when she's like pretending to be the mermaid, she jumps in the water, which they hadn't planned, and she actually jumps in and says, "Come, keep filming, and but come get me. I don't know how to swim." And he picks her up and he goes, "Do you really not know how to swim?" And she's like, "I really don't." He goes, "Why would you do that then?" She's like, "For our art, you know." And she says like, "Never do anything halfway." And that's what I've really been. That's what I want to hold. You know, that's how I want to live. I mean, if you've been watching any of the stuff I've been putting out, I've just been saying this like over and over again because it just feels so true. It's something that translated from Rumi, and says you must give up 10,000 half loves to bring one whole heart home. And yeah, like nothing's trivial, you know? Like, it's like, this thing with like creation and allowing, it's not about making things happen, but to allow something to come through fully, it means focus. Like, everything matters. Every single way I spend my time and who I give my energy to and who I allow in and what I'm influenced by, like, everything matters, you know? So it's not about like being busy all day and like trying to make all this happen, but it is about being conscious, like about every single way that you, it's about like staying true to this vision. And like, I'm noticing the fear, but like, yeah, then something so fucking simple like this movie is bringing up all this emotion for me, is inspiring me, and is helping me connect things, you know?